the technical details are managed by Andrea Ascari, who is in Italy, and also member of Ecett-Networks, like Zdenka also is member. Okay, George, to you, 5 minutes.
As there are many new participants, I will take, I think, 10 minutes, but okay, I will go fast on it.
You are the boss.
Okay.
Okay.
Next, Andrea. So be welcome all. Can do the next slide. He's busy with Italian, maybe. Yes, so this is one first thing. When someone is speaking, please put microphones off. For your questions, you can use the chat, and we will take the questions after the presentations. But also, if you want to raise the hand, you can raise the hand, and we will give you the word also. Yes, keep your comments short and go to the point. And Fabienne, she is the timekeeper, so we will respect what she asks. And so the English is the working language. So, next. So Ecett exists since more than 10 years, and is a network of learning through the exchange of good practices. In general, it was physical internships abroad. There are more than 1,000 people who traveled abroad over the 10 years. And now with the COVID-19, we had to find other ways to share good practices. And so we used webinars. Some webinars are in French, others are in English. And over the year, we have 5 thematics in each language. Today is the first thematic in English, which is the community as method approach in addiction. Yes, next. Oh, wait. No, this was the last one. You can do next one. One more. One more. No, this is next. Next. Voilà. This is the big difference. Voilà. This is the big difference between classic training, which is an expert speaks to many trainees, and the expert is the most active person. When people do Ecett internships abroad, then the trainees are the main responsible for their learning. So this is how we had good practices written by the trainees. And now what we do, we have contacted the experts who were at the origin of these good practices. And today it's back to the classic training, which is the experts will explain what they do in the good practices. Yes, Andrea, next. Yes, this is Ecett. We have a database of more than 400 hosts in Europe. 500 good practices have been written since 10 years. And of course, we hope that you will join the club. And for example, our new participants from Finland, Germany, Norway, Slovenia, etc. Please, when you have something you do well, please make a sign, contact us to say that you are ready for presenting a good practice in a webinar. We are searching now for the future webinars, more good practices, and we will help you to write the good practice online. And Fabienne will send you the list of the next webinars. Yes, this is, yes, Andre, I think it's enough. It's enough. It's enough. You can go now to the next presentation. This was the main things to say about Ecett and the webinars.
So, okay, now we will ask Theodora to present the first good practice, which is radio show made in Argo in Greece. Okay, Theodora, thank you.
Yes, okay. Actually, the name of okay, that's okay. So the full name of the group is Radio Show Group for Expression and Communication. This group started in 2008 and it has been through many changes since then, but the main target and goal was always the same. That is learning how to speak properly and communicate with others and the society.
Just a moment, yes, for Andrea. It's okay, Andrea?
Anybody that is an ex-drug addict and a member of the therapeutic community can join this group, which has two parts. The first part, it is being held once every 2 weeks with all the group members for 1 hour and 15 minutes at the program with 1 or 2 coordinators. At that part, the members must decide on their own, of course, what will be the main theme of discussion at the radio show. Usually the themes have a social content like economic crisis, social racism, relationships, COVID crisis and lockdowns. And most of the times relating to rehabilitation, such as alcohol, gamble and drugs. Is it okay? May I go? Okay. The goal is to inform and communicate with the public. At the first part, the group has to decide which are the 3 members that will represent the group and by extension, the program at the radio show. The members state their desire and if they do not complete the number of 3 participations at the radio station, then the group has to vote their 3 representatives. The coordinators do not interfere at all unless they find it necessary. The only interference is when the group is out of order or if they believe that the main theme they choose is risky. We try to avoid any political discussions. Also, at the first part, the coordinators are giving some exercises such as speech training, oral composition, debates, etc. Bonding exercises are also given. Bonding between the group members is very important so that they will get along well during the radio show. Of course, they have different ideas about the topics they choose, but this is what we really want them to deal with. Know how to have a different opinion and not in an argument with someone. The goal is to succeed a healthy discussion between them with different ideas. That was the first part of the group. Now we have to see the second part. The second part takes place at the radio station once every 2 weeks for a 1-hour show. The radio station that hosts us is a local radio station that gives us the opportunity to express ourselves and chose any kind of music we think that fits with the topic of the day. Also, a DJ is a courtesy of the station. The members meet 1 hour before the radio show begins to organize what to say and what kind of music they will choose. For 1 hour, they discuss the radio show and on air, the theme chosen from the first part. with each other and with the listeners who sent messages through the Facebook or by calling at the radio station by phone. Again, the coordinators do not interfere at all unless they find it necessary. Trust is very important. And also the listeners might have different ideas. They can text their opinions and our members have to read them on air. That is how we succeed the communication with people they do not know, but also let other people know about our program and that ex-addicts do have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
There is also one more group created by the program graduates. The radio show takes place every time the therapeutic community team can off. This group does not belong in the therapeutic community, but everybody who participates in these groups respects and agrees with the program rules and ideas. Like they are forbidden to use drugs or alcohol before and during the radio show. They meet outside the DC with the coordinator of the group once a month. And the coordinator is also responsible for this group, acting more freely. So, which are the skills for the staff? For the coordinator is a small experience as a radio show presenter, or he can also, or she can also have good ways of speaking, or he or she can know how to contact with other people and be polite. The risk. Radio show is an exposure for everyone speaking at the microphone, as well as the program itself. So since members that belong to the group represent themselves and the program too. And last, what we expect for the members. Members that join this group usually use it as a way to evolve. They become better listeners. They learn how to accept other people's opinion, even if they do not agree with them. Find out new topics and new things, learn to form new ideas and personal opinions and how not to be afraid to express them. Make a conversation with people they do not know, like the radio listeners. Create a better way of speaking, losing the slang that they used to speak. And last but not least, making the program known to the public through the radio, trying to make people understand what a rehabilitation program provides to ex-drug users and their families also, trying to take the stigma off of them. All of the above are being succeeded through teamwork and collectivity. And of course, the audience's participation to the radio show and the radio station's ratings. So that's it. If you have any questions.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Theodora, for this good presentation. I hope that Andrea has managed for the Italian people, because he's translating the presentations. For the moment, there is no question in the chat, just one. Of course, all the presentation will be available on our platform. And I did put the link of this platform on the chat. You will receive an access, or maybe you have received it yet. I don't remember. I think maybe Andrea will do it. So one question from Laurie: do you have any knowledge, statistics on how many people listen to this radio show, Theodora?
Yes, every 3 months. Every 3 months there is, I think we have, I think there are 2 companies that measures the ratings that every radio station have, and every 3 months we get the ratings so we know how many, not how many people, it's about 10% or 12% every 3 months.
10% of what?
It's the ratings, 10% of how many people they can hear you in your own town.
Okay, okay, okay. Wow, wow.
The question for this good practice radio show in a community.
I have one. Sorry, I have one question. I would like to know the motivation for the beneficiaries, the users. It's easy for you for them to do this, to go over and to do it.
Yes, the motivation is how to learn to speak more properly, use the slang, and most of them find it very interesting to speak in public, have other people listen to them, to their ideas, to their opinions, because they're not used to having people listening to them. And they find it very interesting.
Yes, Theodora. During the radio show, is there a dialogue between the residents, the speakers, and between the audience? Is there a dialogue? And does the audience sometimes send feedback or encouragements for the residents?
Yes. Every listener can text through Facebook, through Messenger. They can have questions, they can set their opinions. Our members have to read these texts on air, so they can also say their opinion. It becomes a dialogue. Of course, you cannot hear the listener.
Mm-hmm.
You can only read what they text.
Mm-hmm.
And they can respond again. They can have questions. We can answer them. It's like a normal radio station, like everybody is doing in a radio show.
Oh. Yes, it was the Georgette is asking. Georgette.
Yes. Do you have an idea of the impact of these shows on the population in terms of prevention to drug use and?
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you very well.
Okay, I'm asking, do you have an idea of the impact of the shows on the population in terms of prevention?
Uh-huh.
The main topic, the main goal is for our members through the radio show to make our program known to the public. Okay? We can have a lot of listeners, and there are a lot of members that came to our program because they listened to this radio show.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think we had 2 people that came to the program through all these years from the radio show.
Ah, okay. Good.
Yes, and I can imagine that the testimonies of your members can also be instructive for listeners when they share how they were in the adolescence, for example. This can help for prevention.
Yes, of course. We also have a lot. We also made a lot of radio shows with the theme of prevention.
Uh-huh.
Still 2 minutes for question.
I will send to Andrea on the platform of the Academy. I will put a paper with the 3 links to the 3 good practices of today on the e-learning platform. So you can have the PowerPoint presentation, but you also can have the initial presentation of the good practices of today.
Also, okay, thank you. And don't forget that, of course, when we will be able to travel again, that we can go to Argo to see and to discuss with the team, and Ecett can help you to build a mobility file or to help you to exchange about that. Okay, now we will, of course, we will answer to those questions at the end. The second presentation will be the individual work plan presented by Juan from Proyecto Hombre. Thank you, Juan.
Okay, good morning to everybody. My name is Joan Wash. I'm a therapist who works in the therapeutic community that you can see in the picture of the association Proyecto Hombre. And first of all, let me thank you to George, Andrea, Paulina, Jessica, and all of the members of the Ecett for having me this opportunity to share with you this good practice called the individual work plan. Well, as George told you before, none of us had the chance of traveling and moving around and learning from each other. So we just picked up some good practices of our own resources, unlike it was traditionally in the Ecett practices. So
speak slowly for Andrea. He has to translate all in Italian for the Italian people. Thank you.
Yep. And maybe you can wait each time when Andrea put the next slide, you can start again to speak.
Okay, thank you. I'll try it. So before talking about good practices, I will just, to offer a context, I will explain what the association Proyecto Hombre is. Then I will just tell a little bit, just in passing, of a good practice of my predecessor, Paul McKellar, who did a good practice in 2012 in Association Proyecto Hombre. And his good practice was personal growth card, which is a therapeutic tool that is used in some foundation of Proyecto Hombre. And then I will explain my good practice, the individual work plan, that is also a therapeutic tool that we use in our foundation as a part of Proyecto Hombre, of the association Proyecto Hombre. Okay, which will be the core of my presentation, of course. Okay, as an introduction, Association Proyecto Hombre is a non-governmental organization created in 1995, and it brings together 27 foundations around all the Spanish territory, and they are working on drug prevention, treatment, rehabilitation, and social reintegration. So these entities, you can turn the next slide, please. Thank you. So these entities attend over more than 18,000 people in treatment per year and have more than 1,000 of professionals and more than 2,000 volunteers who made this possible. But the most important thing I would like to transmit is that although there are many foundations, 27, with many workers and many volunteers spread around the country, all of them are partnered in order to ensure a common methodology and a common philosophy that preserve the identity of Proyecto Hombre and the quality of the intervention. Therefore, although there are different devices in the different foundations, they share all of them a common methodology, which is the biopsychosocial model. In this model, addiction is conceived as a complex phenomenon with many dimensions that must to pay attention on in order to to be more effective in the treatment. So the good practices will try to take an answer to this complexity of the addiction as this multifactorial phenomenon. You can turn the other slide, please. Okay, so before I explain about my good practice, I will just say a little bit of my predecessor one called Paul McKellar, and the good practice was personal growth card, which is a therapeutic tool that is used in some foundation of the association Project Hombre. Well, this card has some objectives, both individual and common objectives, and all of them are regarding to 5 areas: responsibility, honesty, self-control, cooperation, and sociability. So all of this is due for a person who is in the therapeutic community in some foundation of the association Project Hombre. So when the person in treatment come to the therapeutic community, is given this personal growth card, and this tool accompanies the person through all the treatment. And the thing that I would like to remark of this practice is that there are the same objectives for each person. No matter their own reality, which is different, so it's the same objectives for everybody in a therapeutic community. It's very different from the good practice that I will present now. If you can turn the slide, please. Well, you can see this chord, which is set into parts. This is the second part with the objectives that they are in Spanish. I'm sorry about that. So if you turn the other slide, please. Okay, so from now on, I will explain my good practice, which is called the individual work plan. So as I told you before, Association Project Hombre has 27 foundations spread around all Spain. And now I'm going to talk to therapeutic tool that is used in one foundation in Catalonia, in the northeast of Spain. So if you pick, we will see the Catalonia, more or less. Okay, there it is. So we have different devices spread around Catalonia as this part of Association Project Hombre. In our foundation, we have the therapeutic community where I work and some other outpatient programs. And in all of them, we use this therapeutic tool called the individual work plan. So why do we use this tool for every device in Catalonia? And why did I choose this tool and not other one for this good practice, you might wonder. So I will explain my answer by telling you what consists the individual work plan. If you can turn the next slide, please. Okay, then many times people in treatment doubt about what should they do to recover. They might feel lost and without any orientation of the therapeutic work, and they demand to the staff members to help them to have an orientation, to have an objective, and to accompany them to these objectives. But we notice that although they have a problem in common, the addiction, there are individual needs to attend and very, very different realities. So we think that it's difficult to approach to them without being very sensitive to this individual reality, which is very different from one person to another one. So what can we offer to them, we wonder. So if we see the next slide, this will be a little answer possible. Can you turn the other slide, please? Oh. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I'll try to speak slowly. I beg your pardon. Well, in the meantime, I just like to say that this is a practice, okay, we can see it, is the individual work plan is this thing that you can see in the right side of the slide. Its goal is to monitor the objectives of the person and their treatment. So when anybody asks for help in addiction treatment in Proyecto Hombre in Catalonia, this tool is given to them. And you can see that there are different areas: addiction, behavior, personal, emotional, sexuality and affectivity, family, social, use of the time, and education and work. In these areas, because we think about the addiction, as I told you before, as a very complex phenomenon composed by biological, psychosocial variables, so we have to attend with all of this complexity. And in these areas, we have common objectives, the same for any person who asks for help in the addiction treatments, which are this one that you have right there. But the most important thing is that there are also blank spaces. For reasons of space, I just put one in each area for the presentation, but there are as many spaces as the person needs. So in these blank spaces, the person is, they have to put some individualized objectives, which have to be as much personalized as possible. So in both objectives, both common and individual ones, there are 3 possible status of each objective, which are pending, that would be that no action has started yet in order to work on in this objective, continue working, which is some action has started but is very far away from being achieved, and okay would be the objective is accomplished in the best way, or at least in a very advanced way of work. So when we give this individual work plan to the people in treatment, they, in the beginning, might think about 3 or 4 or 5 objectives personalized. And as the time goes by, there are other objectives that they come up and they can put it, or maybe they delete some old objectives, maybe because these objectives are achieved, or maybe because this objective is not important anymore to the person. So as we can see in the next slide, this tool is very dynamic. It's not something static. The objectives are always updated, because it has to be a useful tool to the present of the person, and the present is always in changing. So as you can see, it's very easy to use. It doesn't have any costs, because it's just this paper that they can do it by handing or just digitally. And as I told you before, it's set for each individual of every device in the foundation located in Catalonia as part of Association Proyecto Hombre. So when the people in treatment doubt about the goals or what they have to do to recover, this provides a clear direction of the therapeutic work. And what is very important is that, as we can see before, this is a attempt to have some answer to these multifactorial problems that they have. So in the best case, if there is an improvement in all of these areas, or at least in several of these areas, we can assume that the person will do some steps in order to the recovery and prevent relapse prevention. Yeah. So another advantage of this tool is that it brings, the first anterior, please. It gives a quick understanding between professionals, because all the information is here. If for some reason the person has to change for the therapist or to the device. For example, if I'm a person in treatment who accomplished the step of therapeutic community and I have to go to another device to do the reintegration program with a completely new staff, with therapists that doesn't know me anymore, they should know which objectives have I worked, or which one I'm working, or which ones are pending. So it gives a very clear information, not only to the person in treatment, but also for the staff. But before finished, I would like to give you a couple of examples, because otherwise it's like, okay, this is very abstract, but how does it work in the reality? So I will give you a couple of examples that I made that up. For example, in the family area, we can see two common objectives. You can read it off the slide, but I will read it aloud. One of them is involve the family in the treatment, and the other one, improve family dynamic and accompany the changes. Okay, then, these are two common objectives for everybody of the family area, and with status that might be pending, keep working, or okay. But the most important thing is the blank spaces, which will be the individualized objectives that I have to think about my own family. For example, I can put some objective with my father, like sharing how we felt along our story. Maybe this is pending because we haven't had any conversation yet of how do we felt in our past. Okay, this is pending. Maybe I work in the groups about how can I work with my dad, how can I speak with him about how I felt, and then in the next weekend I do my first conversation. Okay, then this objective changed the status from pending to keep working. And maybe in several months, if these conversations are continuing, maybe the status changes from keep working to okay. And then maybe some other objective with my dad are possible. For example, share some hobby to spend some time in common, for example. Okay, apart from my dad, with my mother, with my siblings, and so on. Or, for example, with my partner. If I'm in a couple, maybe I can put an individualized objective regarding of spending much time, quality time with my couple, or be more responsible of the task of the house, maybe. And if I'm a father or a mother and I have children, maybe I can put also an objective with my child. For example, I don't know, help him or her to do his homework, or be with him or her in their hobbies like basketball, I don't know. So it's very adaptable of the reality of each person. And the second example, let me just finish with another example, in the social area. Okay, in the social area, I will take distance of persons that consume, and maybe I'm doing the process of my own by myself or just with my family, and I need to socialize with some healthy people. And in the social area, I can put to do some activity in order to know new people. And when in this process of knowing new people, maybe I can put an individual objective, for example, to share and spend some quality time without this activity with these people. For example, a coffee time where I can open my heart and they do the same thing, and the bond then is created and the friendship is possible. So it just many possibilities adapted to every person, and this becomes like a compass that instead of pointing north, it points about the objective of my reality, very adapted to my own needs. So that is my presentation of the individual work plan. Thank you very much. If you have any comments, you can do it right now or by email. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Juan, for this good presentation and good example. Okay, now if you have questions, please hand your hand or put it in the chat, maybe. For the moment, there is no question.
The micro, George, please. George, I can't hear you if you turn the micro. Yeah.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
These two documents, the common work plan and the individual work plan, you have it in English?
Well, I translated my good practice, the individual work plan, which is the therapeutic tool that we use in Catalonia, but I didn't translate my predecessor work plan. I just put it in order to have a feeling of continuation of my predecessor who did this work in 2012. I didn't translate that good practice. I translated the one that we use in Catalonia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think it might be interesting for the participants to have access to the two documents. Even if one is in Spanish, we can use automatic translation because I think these two tools can be useful for the participants to the webinar.
Yeah, sure, totally. I can send you by mail the two documents. No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Zdenka has a question, and she asked, first, thank you for a very interesting presentation. The question is, when do you prepare this plan? At the submission of clients to TC or during? Is it an ongoing process?
Yeah, this tool is along the entire process. This is given to them at the very first beginning, but there is always updated and reviewed by the therapists and the people in treatment along all the process, no matter the device. This is not only the therapeutic community, but also in every program, in any device of Proyecto Hombre Catalonia, in outpatient programs, residential programs, adults, and with underage people as well, and during all the process of each individual.
Thank you. It's okay, Zdenka. Do you have an answer or more question?
Georgette is asking.
Okay. Georgette, okay. Could you open your microphone? Switch on your microphone.
Yes. For me, is not a question as such. I would like to thank you for this, for sharing this tool, this very valuable tool, because in my organization, we are always struggling with this type of follow-up. I had to measure progress during the therapeutic program of the person. Thank you for sharing this valuable tool.
Thank you for your kind words, Georgette. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Georgette. Another person? Okay, so you will maybe...
George?
Yeah.
Yes. Do the residents receive a seminar or information about these two documents so they can follow what the staff also has in mind for the program?
Yeah, without any doubt. In the first place, when they are in treatment in the beginning, we have a seminary and we explain, and not just once, the times that is necessary, the jobs that they have, the objectives, because it's important to have a sense of what they are going to do. Not just do it because the staff asks them, but have a meaning of what are they doing. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so you will find the presentation of one on our platform. Andrea will send you an email with all technical details to go on our platform. So now, thank you, Juan, and we are going now to have the presentation of Athena from Argo. She will present drones. Thank you, Athena.
I think it's not Athena, I think it's Teano. Sorry.
Ah, Teano. Yes, I have a wrong information. So Teano from Argo.
We don't hear
open your
you.
microphone. Switch on your microphone, Piano. And speak slowly to allow Andrea to translate for our Italian colleagues.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning from beautiful rainy Thessaloniki. Thank you for being here today. It's raining today. Thank you for being here today and give me the opportunity to share with you my experience from the percussion group I facilitate with the members of the program that I work. Time is very short, so I will try to be brief. My name is Hadjoudi Theano, and I have been working in the field of detoxification for 24 years. What inspires me in my work are the life changes of addicts, and I always try to focus on creating the conditions for people to act freely, to discover their abilities and desires, as well as to feel pleasure without the use of substances. A few words about the ARGO, the program in which I work. It pertains to the national health system and especially to the psychiatric hospital of Thessaloniki. It deals with any kind of dependency from illegal drug, offers its services to adult individuals. It's drug-free and non-residential program. It's free of charge, and services are provided without any kind of discrimination. Next slide, please.
Yes, and you can go slow for Andrea because it's very complicated for him to translate everything.
Okay. The drum group operates in a special room with sound insulation and several percussion instruments, as we can see. Percussion instruments were chosen and not other musical instruments because rhythm is a phenomenon connected with the human existence, and also percussions are easy to use and they don't require special knowledge. Meetings are held once a week with 2 facilitators.
Yes.
We use percussions to enhance expression and communication between our members, to develop a sense of belonging to a team and creating the prerequisites to connecting with self and others, to develop the ability for verbal and non-verbal communication, through to communication with others, to set common goals and cooperate for succeeding them. And we use percussions because they are not required technical skills. And our goal is not our members to become drummers, of course. Our main interest is the promotion of therapeutic goals about which I will discuss later on. When the meeting starts, we're interested to see how the members come, what happened in their day or in the previous therapeutic meetings. So we give them some time to express themselves. Then we continue with warm-up activities that include rhythmic games, body activation, and focus on to here and now. After that, we will come in a circle and choosing the instrument that everyone wants. In the main part of the meeting, we use 2 types of activities. The improvisational activities that aim to develop the imagination, expression of emotions, and the freedom of everyone to play in their own way, and the structured activities that promote collaboration, responsibility, and creativity. Each meeting closes with a discussion in which we share our experience, and usually very important information comes up about how they felt and how they acted. In improvisation activities, we suggest to start with closed eyes and silence. The aim, as I have already said, is the release of emotions and the development of imagination, and everyone is called to play freely. I will mention 3 of these activities. In the first activity, the whole group sits in a circle with their eyes closed, and we start with absolute silence. Whoever wants starts to play a rhythm, and one after the other can join in and start playing. It's like talking by the beat. They can choose to play either a slow beat, a louder one, a fast one, or any kind of beat they choose to play, expressing the emotion of the moment. What we suggest is try to listening to the others. So in a magical way, after a while, most of times, they manage to get a common rhythm. The next activity is called sound journey. We can have more than one percussion instrument, not only drum, but bells, maracas, and smaller percussions that create various sounds. In this activity, we close our eyes and take 10 deep breaths. After, whoever wants can begin making a sound, and the rest join in when they feel ready to do so. Usually, the beat starts slowly with quieter sounds, and in the process, they become louder and more intense. And towards the end of the activity, the beat again becomes softer, and little by little, the sound stops. When the last member has stopped playing, we open our eyes. And the third activity is called the storm, is my favorite. Follows the same procedure by creating sounds that simulate the sounds of wind, rain, and thunderstorms. Let me show you some sounds. We begin with wind. Then the rain starts. And climaxes thunderstorms. When the storm begins to slow down until it stops. The improvisation activities demand a lot of time until the members are able to feel comfortable in any circumstance and become able to spontaneously express their feelings and actively listen to each other. When we have to participate in an event, we need to create some structured rhythms. We need to work and collaborate to create the rhythms that will be present in an event. In this case, we suggest the members to find rhythms by themselves, and then we decide all together which of them to choose from. In structured activities, everyone has a role and plays according to his/her ability. We practice in order to synchronize as a team, and our final goal is the performance in front of an audience. It's a very creative procedure because all members of the group are involved. This experience is new and unique experience for most of members, and so it's very important to evaluate it. We discussed with the members how they felt during the experience, if they were able to identify any new personal characteristics that are useful and provide information about themselves, if they felt they cooperate and communicated with the rest of the group and what this means for them. Was there something that bothered them, how they got over it? Lastly, how was the experience of exposing themselves in front of an audience? Was the experience positive or negative? What is necessary to have in mind next time? During this procedure, we use questionnaires, open-ended questions, and discussion to collect information. As facilitators, we have the role of suggesting rather than teaching or giving orders. We try to be in an open dialogue with our members on how we will organize the function and the content of the group. Our role is to encourage them to take decision in all steps of the procedure, to strengthen motivation to express their creativity, to actively participate and observe within the group, to motivate the members to listen to the needs and interests of the group, to observe and express the group dynamics and the level of sentimental involvement. And guidelines are given in a simple manner so every member can easily follow. At the end of my presentation, I will share with you some of the comments the members of the percussion group gave in relation to their experience. I could never believe I could make it. I like our working together so much. I could not believe I could present myself in front of an audience. I felt that since I was able to do this, I could also manage other things in my life. I discovered one more thing that makes me feel nice. Although I believe we could have done better, I had a great time. I would very much like to do it again. I could express things for myself without realizing it. The percussion group has been operating for 15 years now with very good results, not only in therapeutic way, but mainly improving the social skills of the members. I love to be a member of this group. And some photos, three photos of various events that the group participated in. Next photos, the next slides are, yes. And thank you very, very much, all of you, for your attention.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Sienna. Maybe
Yes,
if you have
Fabienne,
question.
is your family name Teano or Shatsuti your family name?
My family name is Hadzoudi.
Shatsuti, okay.
Okay, sorry. If you have some question, we'll have minutes to. Juan says that the work through music is incredible. I would like to inform you that after our visit of this good practice 3 years ago, because I'm working in a company too, we decided to begin a project like that. And now we have received 1 month ago some money from a donator to buy the first instrument. And so probably Paulina will send some of us to your community and to follow more and to learn more about this group practice to build this project in Trampoline. And you are at the beginning of this initiative. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Yes, I was just thinking on that, and I was thinking to ask to my colleague who is in charge of it, maybe he could start reading your good practice, and we can contact you to make a partnership on this good practice. It's very interesting. We didn't see it, I guess, when we went to Argo in 2019. We didn't see your facilities. We didn't see. I don't remember if we saw it.
And Paulina, what you can also do is to ask to Theano for coaching, like we do in the academy. This is an example of possible cooperation and training. And
sorry,
coaching.
I can't hear you very well.
Oh, sorry. You can't hear me? Strange. Theano, you hear me now?
Very well.
Andrea will speak. What do you say, Theano?
I can't hear you very well.
Okay.
I can say it. We're building Ecett Academy, and maybe you could participate on it as a teacher, because it's a very good practice.
Of course, we can.
If you prefer, I will send. We can send you the information during the week, next week. Okay?
Yes. Yes, we're very open in any kind of cooperation.
Also, I think you are very motivated on this. I very appreciate your good practice, your presentation.
Is there any question? Is there any question about this good practice?
How many times do you make a public presentation performance?
It depends. When they call us in an event, if the team decide to participate, we're open to go in an event.
Okay.
But it depends for the if the group is ready to present something, because the members changes. They're not the same. Changes, and it's important to be ready for an event.
Okay.
But about 5-6 times a year.
Okay, fine.
Okay, thank you to the 3 persons who gave us very good presentations. And now we are going to present you the project of the Ecett Academy based on our good practices, because Ecett-Networks has collected nearly 800 good practices in 4 sectors: addiction, social, youth, and fourth one is well, I don't remember, but there is nearly more than 8